This congregation is a community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to its life, we affirm our lives within it. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share this we live. We will now go to hymn 396. I know this rose will open. If you'll all stand as you can.
So can everybody hear me okay? I feel like no. Is this better? Okay, good. All right. So I love fall and I love beginning a new school year because for me, I guess really for all of us, life is a series of cycles and rhythms, and I have always associated fall with new beginnings. And I was writing this morning, and then I recognized the irony of what I'm saying right now because we are actually in the middle of August, which is still very much summer. But in my mind, from the time I was a child, because for me as a child, school used to start after Labor Day, which was in September, which was fall, I still associate school starting with fall. So today I am just up here saying I love fall. And I love the start of school, and I love the beginning. It's so interesting because it's the beginning of so much, and yet on our calendars, the ending of a year. So it's interesting how those cycles and rhythms of life really work. But a few months ago, I talked about letting go and how it's important as we move through those cycles of life to hold on loosely and value what we have and then let it go when it's ready to go. And today, I want to talk about looking forward and what it means to embrace something new in the context of the continuity that is our life. So here we are for many of our kiddos, for this church year, for many of us, we're here and we're the same and we're different. And next week, we'll be celebrating the fact that as a faith community, we have been in this physical structure, this building, for 10 years. And so as a faith community, we're here, and we're the same, and we're different. And I think the key is really for all of those avenues and areas in life, the key is being able to embrace change while celebrating that continuity thread that keeps us connected and the same. It's like the both and, which is absolutely okay. And if you think about it, rituals in life are very interesting because what rituals do is they create a rhythm or a pattern, and they allow something to stay the same as they open doors and avenues to change. So we recognize the ritual, the rhythm of a graduation. And many times graduation ceremonies at different schools are the same every year, and yet they are bringing in the acknowledgement of change. The ritual of getting married is the same thing. A lot of times it's similar words, but it's bringing in and embracing a change. And that is what celebrations are, and that's what we're going to be celebrating next week, is the idea that we're here and we're the same and we've changed. And I love to tell this story. Those of you who have been here for a while with the continuity of me as your minister have probably heard this story a time or two, but I love to tell it about a man who was married for 70 years. And he was being interviewed, and he was asked, what is the key to your marriage lasting so long? And he said, in essence, over the course of the years, I think my wife has probably become a completely different person. Probably 10 times. She's been 10 completely different people. And I fell in love with every single one of them. Right? And I fell in love with every single one of them. To me, that's such a beautiful story of embracing change while holding on to what is dear. And so we have to allow ourselves to change. We have to allow the people around us whom we love to change, because change is that natural part of being alive. And in the world of politics, we love to slam politicians who say they believe in one thing a few years ago, and then they're now saying that they believe in something else. And it's kind of like we get that little dopamine rush of gotcha, gotcha. And sometimes it literally is just political expedience and hypocrisy. And we definitely can see that in our politicians and leaders. But sometimes people have simply changed. And they've learned from experience. Something worked, and then something else didn't work. And if, in my opinion, if any of us, politicians or leaders or anybody, are wise human beings, we understand that it's a good thing to gain a new perspective, to view the world through a wider lens, to have more life experience behind us. And if that means with that change, then how we understand the world and how we understand what is best for the people around us changes, that in and of itself is not a bad thing. Learning, recalibrating, and changing things up is what it means to be alive and embracing life. We learn, we grow, we change. And I've thought about this a lot. I actually don't want to be the same person I was 20 or 30 or even 40 years ago. I do want to live a life and make decisions in the here and now, in the present time, that will allow me to look back in 10 or 20 or 30 years from now and say, I like the person I was back then. I'm proud of the choices I made back then. But I don't want to be the person I was back then, because that would mean I wasn't embracing my life in the here or now, or acknowledging the different phases of life that could and can be so much fun. And so next week, we're celebrating this faith community. We're going to be celebrating who we have been. We will be celebrating who we are now, and we get to celebrate where we choose to go. And a big part of who we are now is, in fact, the reason behind that is because we have had a building and we've been in this physical structure for 10 years. But this building is so much more than just a shelter. It was the accumulation of years, decades actually, of dreaming of this little community one day owning its own building. It was the accumulation of hard work, of creating and implementing a vision and turning that vision into physical reality. Literally tearing down walls, painting and building something new. And to me, that's pretty cool. Because this building started as an idea. Just an idea. And then it became an image. And then it became a plan. And then it became a reality. And 10 years later, it is a faith home that has housed so many beautiful events that have become cherished memories. And so we go from an idea through this continuity all the way into a cherished memory. And yet we keep going around, and we, in this space, in this building, with each other, have new ideas, which become new visions, which become new plans, which become new physical creations, which become new memories. And if you ask me, I think that's pretty cool. Because there's been that continuity in the last 10 years. This is where we've been almost every Sunday for 10 years. A few times we were out in the parking lot for animal blessings, and then for about 9 months we were all in our homes via Zoom. But for the most part, we've had this chalice, we've had these candles, we've had this podium, and we've created things from there. We've had many beloved members who helped us create this vision, who are no longer with us. And we have so many of you here in this room, new beloved members, who are helping create the future as we move forward. And so for me, that's just fun and it's exciting. And I'm using the example of our building right now, but I want us to take it to a more personal level, because each and every one of us has that type of example in our own lives. The lives that each one of us have created and continue to create our own human journeys. So my parents are in town this weekend, and the reason I cry every Sunday is because she cries easily, and I got it from her, so let's blame her. But they're in town. They came in town for Danny's birthday, and so we're celebrating a milestone for her. But then yesterday we were helping Nathaniel move into the dorms at CMU, and he really didn't think he needed much of our help. So we decided to take a tour of the campus, and my parents were talking about their memories of being on a different college campus like 60 years ago. And there's no reason for the tears. So Corey, I was told that Corey cried through her sermon last week. So Corey, I gotcha. Okay. But anyways, they were talking about their memories of being on campus 60 years ago. And it was reminding me of my memories of being on a campus 30 years ago. And I'm excited for Nathaniel, and I'm excited for Melody and all of these kids who are starting this new phase of life, and our teenagers who are still in high school, and it's all exciting. And it's fun to look back on, and it's fun to reminisce the earlier parts of our lives. But we also move on. There were a lot of things I loved about being in college, but there was so much life I have lived since then, and I'm so excited for the life I have in front of me. And what is interesting is the concept of that continuity thread in our life. So like I said, since Nathaniel didn't really feel like he needed us, or he needed our help moving in, and Danny was at work because her continuity, her life is moving on. These kids are growing up. We didn't have a lot to do, so we went and played tennis for about an hour. And so when I was playing tennis with, no reason to cry once again, but when I was playing tennis with my parents who were in their 80s, I was thinking, I hope I'm able to still do this when I'm 80. And it's not really about the tennis. It's about watching my parents and all of you embrace your lives in every stage of life and being fully engaged in life at every phase. Because there is continuity in life. Things change and we begin anew, and still we're the same. We're still the same people. We are, and we're not the same people we were. It's a both and dichotomy happening at the same time. And so in my family, that continuity is represented with a tennis racket. But that is different for all of us. For some of you, it might be that thread of art or music or poetry or hiking or gardening. But it's that aspect of who you are who has remained through the course of your life, through the decades, that continuity thread. And within that thread, we change. We grow. Paradigms shift. We have our children who come to us and say, I know you've always done it this way, but your way doesn't work for me right now. And then we have the option to say, but we have to do it this way because we've always done it this way, and this is what we do. Or we can take a deep breath and say, this is the way I've done it, And this is my life, this is my continuity thread, and our children have their own life journeys, and they have their own life stories and their path, and they're maybe going to do it a little bit differently, but what is right for them. And so, who says that anything has to be this way? Who says that you have to go away and not come back? Who says that you have to preach a certain way? Who says that you have to sing a certain way? Or that there's only one way to teach children? Who says? Who says that there's only one way to navigate the politics of world wars? Who says that it can't be time to think outside of the box and do things a little bit differently, and maybe different might be better? We have to give ourselves permission to grow, to change, to embrace new concepts, to bring in new ideas, and to allow each stage of life into who we are becoming. The other insight I had this morning was the idea, the concept that every human being in every generation is creative in every part of their life. You don't wait to start contributing until you're a certain age, and you never stop contributing when you hit a certain age. And so it's that continuity of contributing about how we're being in the world. What the children shared with us this morning with their ideas of how to take care of each other and what it means to be safe and secure, they're contributing to who we are. And then we have people of many more generations than them who are here contributing life lessons and wisdom. And so who we are when we're 30 doesn't stop when we're 80 or 90. It never stops. So the 20-year-olds need the wisdom of the 70-year-olds. But the 80-year-olds need the joy and the innocence of the 5-year-olds. We need each other. And we need each other through every phase of each one of our lives. And so we grow, we change, we walk that spiral of life, and each time we come around, it may feel similar, but we're different. And different is okay. Different is fun. And different can be joyful. So next week, together, we will celebrate the past while we look forward to new beginnings. And I, for one, am looking forward to embracing these new beginnings together. And with that, let us sing number 348 in your gray hymnal, Guide My Feet. And you can stand or remain sitting in spirit as able and as you wish. we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go now in peace. Amen.